Hello, and welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio, where you can discuss, debate, and get advice on how to discover and shed the bitches of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and negative mindsets so you can realize your dreams and life purpose and create and accelerate the riches you want in life. Join us here live every Tuesday at noon Eastern and dialogue with us at 818-572-2910. You can also chat with us at Blog Talk Radio /Shedding the Bitch, or share your stories on our website at sheddingthebitch.com. Whatever the bitch is that's holding you back from living your life to the fullest, it's not worth giving up the riches in life that you deserve. So call in now and let Bernadette Bose know what's holding you back. 818-572-2910.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to Shedding the Bitch Radio, and welcome also to Shedding the Bitch Facebook live streaming. You know, this is always a little tricky proposition to go out via the streaming services podcast, as well as through all of our online Facebook streams. But here we are, and I am so excited about today's conversation because we're going to have a great one around the Motivate Me project with Melony Brown. And we'll bring her in and introduce her in just a second. But I want to say, can you believe it? December 15th, people. I mean, we are just days away from bringing in the new year with a bang and taking out the current year with, well, whatever it is you need to do to put 2020 behind you. Can I get an amen? Oh my gosh, it's absolutely just crazy what this year has been. And just imagine if you're in Atlanta, Georgia right now. All right, that's all do I need to say anything more when it comes to the Senate races and the politicians and the commercials and you name it? It's we're still in the kind of the thick of everything that's been going on the last couple of months. So I'm doing my best. To keep myself as calm, cool, and collected as possible as we work our way through December into January. But that's why this conversation is going to be awesome today. I want to thank our new listeners and followers and viewers. Those of you who have really been catching on to the Shedding the Bitch program, whether it's through any Blog Talk Radio or any of the podcasting streaming services, or on our YouTube channel, Shed the Bee TV on YouTube, or if it's even right here in Facebook. And I want to thank you so much. Please be sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, leave comments, any kind of comments. Just be nice. All right. Let's not do the 2020 thing. Let's be nice, but at the same time, constructive and input and ideas and suggestions, you name it, for how we can really bring the topics to you, the experts to you, and the conversations and dialogues to you. But thank you so much to all of our new listeners and viewers as well. Thank you to the current ones, because it's you that are actually liking, following, subscribing, commenting, rating, and getting more eyes and ears onto the program. And I thank you so much for that. And I request that you continue doing that because it does, help to find those new potential listeners and viewers. So thank you so much. We couldn't do this and wouldn't do this without you. So we appreciate that very, very much here in the Shedding the Bitch community. Also, this program is being brought to you by North Georgia Tax Solutions. And Debbie Snelling and her team provide full service financial and tax services, not only here in Georgia, but all over the country to small and corporate sized clients. So be sure to, if you have any needs for yourself or for your business in any way, shape, or form, please reach out to ngtaxsolutions.com and Debbie Snelling. Tell her I said hi and that I sent you. They are an awesome group and a great, great, great sponsor of everything we do here in the Shedding the Bitch community. All right. So let me introduce this topic, and then we're going to bring in our guest and introduce her. So today is all about motivation. It's about fueling up your daily lives with the Motivate Me project and Melony Brown. And the Motivate Me project recharges, re-energizes, and refocuses subscribers to chase their dreams again and again, impacting lives and thriving in 2021. Now, who wants to do that? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I want you to be listening for a few things throughout this conversation. Then I'm going to give you your rich question. And we'll talk to Melony about that as well, because most likely she'll address it through the conversation we have today. And the rich question for those new listeners and or those that are jumping on for the very first time, our rich question grounds you into the subject that we're talking about today. So if you've kind of jumped on and you're like, well, I'm not sure if this relates to me or not, well, that's the purpose of the rich question, is for you to kind of be able to shift yourself into considering a question based on the topic of conversation. And as you continue to listen, you'll get tips and strategies and just motivation and inspiration for whatever it is that you might be dealing with in your work or your life. All right. So I want you to be listening to the fact that Melony's going to talk about how motivation is fuel, the fuel you need to refocus and re-energize, not only so you just survive. We're not into just surviving. No, that's not what we do here. We want you to thrive. We want you to just create and accelerate all the riches in life that you want, no matter what those riches are. And the Motivate Me projects, also, you'll be listening to see how it can be your daily kick in the butt or kick in the pants, as Melony said. I'm a little bit strong, but to chase the dreams that are on your heart. And then also, how can you move beyond the feeling of isolation, diminished energy, and negative effects of this year? We're going to talk all about that as well. So, Melony Brown is an educator, author, podcaster, speaker, and motivator. She's inspiring and encouraging those who face life's challenges to never give up in their passion. On her website, melonybrown.com, over 100 stories of women overcoming challenges, inspiring and encouraging you to fight to overcome your own challenges. Melony's interviews with overcomers can also be found on her podcast. Love this name, Zigzag and One. Zigzag and One. During the months of the Americans quarantining and self-isolating, Melony realized each of us were facing what could potentially be the toughest challenges of our lives. Melony noticed a growing lack of motivation, the negative effects of a severely restricted social life, and a diminished energy to engage in life where we're becoming the norm, not the exception. The Motivate Me project grew as a response to offer men, women, and teens the opportunity to reset so they may thrive in 2021. After all, motivation fuels your dreams. So let's bring in Melony to the show and find out all about the Motivate Me project. How are you, Melony? You can unmute now, Melony, if you'd like.
Okay, I have.
There you are.
There we are.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. How pretty. Love that background. How are you?
Thank you. It's so good to hang out with you again today.
It is. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you with that smiley face and that energy level. That's why this conversation is going to be awesome. And I needed to give you your rich question, everybody. And fortunately, Melony's here to understand it as well. I want you to really think about, not only for 2020, but just in life itself, what motivates you? And I'm not talking just like what gets you. Yeah, I'm not talking just what gets you like, woohoo. I'm more so talking about what really gets you off that couch or out of that headspace or just out in the world in order for you to really be able to, just be your best you and, re-energize, like Melony says, and refocus and go after those dreams and those goals that you have. So think about that as we talk. And I'm sure Melony will be addressing through the conversation about the Motivate Me project, just, some tips and strategies for you to be able to kind of grab hold. If you're struggling and you're like, well, not much right now, then that's what this conversation is all about. All right. All right. So how are you, Melanie?
I am fantastic. I'm going to throw it back at you, though. What motivates you?
Oh my gosh, just this. Quite honestly, I mean, just being able to engage. And somebody asked me the other day, "What's my jam? What do I think my jam is?" And I'm like,
Great
I think my
question.
jam. Yeah. And I think my jam is, I love learning about other people. So I love interviewing them. I love them being able to then inspire and motivate and educate and inform, our listeners and our viewers. So this just, I could be in a really nasty mood like 5 minutes before we go live. And then all of a sudden I'm just like, woohoo, let's do it. So this is one of many things that motivates me, but that's okay. How about you? What motivates you?
Well, I'm not going to be quite so philosophical. I'm just going to tell you that red velvet cupcakes, that's my jam.
That's a great jam. That's a great
Absolutely.
motivator. That's a
Absolutely.
great. And when the next time you make them, I need one.
Hey, we'll meet and we'll have cupcakes together and we'll have so much fun talking about things that motivate and inspire because that's about you as well. Like that's
Yeah.
what I know about you.
Yeah. Oh, well,
You
thank
offer
you.
that you offer that with all of what you do and I benefit from it. I have been looking back over the videos from your Goals to Riches Mastery Summit and like excellent content.
Thank
I'm
you. Thank you.
thrilled that
Thank you. But
I'm thrilled that I get to access those things because that's what I need too. I mean, I may be a motivator and an encourager, but I need motivation as well.
sure. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We all do. No matter whether or not we are so-called experts in anything, we
Mm.
still are so in on that, whatever subject matter expertise we have, that we kind of all of a sudden like, think, people think, oh, well, they must not need help. They must not need motivation or support or, energy or a coach or whatever the case might be. And that can't be further from the truth. Um,
Amen.
yes. Amen. Amen. But this is about you and the Motivate Me project, which I absolutely just love. But I want to first kind of go step back a little bit and work our way into how this came about. So, as you are thinking about 2020, what would you say? And then we'll get to into 2021. But what would you say would be your biggest takeaway from 2020?
Me personally, it's been
Yes.
that you have to have that solid mindset of the circumstances around me may be challenging, may be hard, but I have a passion and purpose. I have a call on my life, and I'm going to keep moving forward towards that, whether there's a pandemic, a typhoon, sickness, whatever. I mean,
Mhm.
like, I've got things that I want to do and accomplish and goals. And that's something that has been very important to me throughout this year is to not lose sight of those things. And
Right.
sadly, I think, and it's not to elevate me at all, but I do think that a lot of people have have hit the wall, so to speak. They've been downtrodden with all of the different circumstances, the unknowns, and they've lost some focus. They've gotten unmotivated, and it breaks my heart because I feel like we don't have time to lose. We have so many wonderful things that we all can contribute to society, and it's kind of just blunted us. It's taken away our momentum, as you said earlier, and that's something that I I know that I can't fix it, but I definitely can do something. And so for me, that's how the Motivate Me process and project all came about. Is
Right.
I've got to at least do something.
Right. Well, and have you found that people were just getting too like shoulder deep in the things that they just could not control, and
Yes.
therefore they were forgetting, that there were things in their life, there are things in their life that they can control to ensure that they are continuing to move forward, but yet they're so consumed with all of those things that are just totally out of their control that they're kind of suffocating, and like you said, they're just totally unmotivated.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail, because there are things that we control, and those all haven't been taken away from us. There have been plenty of things that have all been altered and changed and taken away, but we still can move forward. It may not be as quickly or as fast as we might have in years past, but we can still keep working towards those things. And
Right.
motivation, as you know, because you're so excellent at it, is so important. And we all need it. We all need to be reminded of the little things that are really big things, like gratitude.
Right.
That's part of a daily mindset that we can be motivated about, and it does make a difference, and it does help us in our perspective and how we view things. And so all of
Right.
those
So
things,
let's break that, but let's break that down a little bit, if you would, because I think there's a lot of us who just kind of assume everybody has a practice of gratitude. And yet, I'll be honest with you, I'll be the first one to throw up my hand that I never considered it like a practice or a discipline or something that I should be doing each and every day. It just was kind of like, I'd go to sleep and I'd pray and I'd be like, thank you for letting me wake up this morning or put me to bed the night or whatever the case might be. So, just for our listeners who I would suspect have some degree of understanding and concept of it. But like, for instance, what do you do around your practice of gratitude, and how does it serve you?
well, I love that you asked that question, because I think it looks different for everyone. I too pray. I thank God for the things in my life, but I also, as I go through the day, I try to be real aware. And that's something I've been working on for years, is to be more aware of my surroundings and the good things, because we can get so focused on the bad things that the good things kind of get hidden. And so if we can, throughout our day, really go through, and as we're going to the grocery store or as we are driving in the car, whatever, focus on what is good around.
Yeah.
There are so many things, and that's just
Yeah.
one of many topics that I want to talk about throughout the year. But
Right.
it is
Well,
about, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I think we have all kind of just been brought down by the pandemic. I think it has taken the life out of us in some ways, because it's all consuming, and we get so overwhelmed with it that if we can back up and look at some of the core life principles, like gratitude, like rest, I mean, just having that positive attitude, even about Mondays. I mean, I love Mondays, and I know people think I'm crazy for it, but it's a great opportunity for a fresh start. And I know we get a fresh start every day, but we kind of put a hanger around Mondays as the start of the week and January 1st as the start of the new year.
Right.
But Mondays are fantastic. They're that day that you can start off strong and you can just get that momentum going. Those are the things that I want to talk about. Just reminding people in a 3-minute audio text, we got this. You've got goals. Here's what we're going to do to pursue them. And I think it's all great reminders that we all need about how great life is. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it hard? Yes, very hard at times. But there are so many good things. And we have goals, and we have passions, and we have ways that we can impact others that we're not really often aware of. But just the reminder of it kind of makes us realize, oh yeah, people are watching, and it's not that I'm showing off. I'm just doing my thing. And if I can give them hope or give them encouragement or show love to them, hey, that's not a bad thing to be reminded of.
No, not well. And aren't you finding too that you're providing this solution, and we'll talk about the actual project in a second. You're providing this solution. I'll call it a solution. I'll get kind of technical on it.
Hey, good with me.
right, to other people. But there has to be a degree of solution for you. Like you're serving other people, but that service to other people is also motivating and inspiring you. Would you say that?
Most certainly. It
Yeah.
has throughout, this kind of started around June, July. And so I've been working on it for quite a few months. Not a lot of people knew about it, because I was just trying to figure out what that looked like. And as I started collecting things that I would like to share in those 3-minute audios, it did motivate me. It's like, gosh, there's so many great things that we can share. And it's just that little boost, that daily boost of encouragement that you
Yeah.
are awesome, that you have potential inside of you, that the things that you and you alone can contribute to our society are unique to you. And if you're not doing that, if you're not doing what's inside of you and bubbling up in that passion and that what you have, if you're contributing to that, not only are you impacting others and benefiting the world, but it like fills you with joy, because that's what's
Hmm.
happened over the last few months for me. Like I'm
Hmm.
kind of giddy about this whole thing. And it's because as I'm putting these things together and as I worked on the journal, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but as I did those things, I was like, yeah, this is good stuff that I need. And and,
Right.
and I know
Right.
and I know that it can, in just 3 minutes a day, it can be life changing in the fact that it gives you that boost for you to do what you are called to do.
Right. 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 Yeah. I mean, we all could use, and it's very interesting when I know for me, so I have my daily devotional. I read Jesus Calling from Sarah Young every day. And
Yes.
it's a 365-day daily devotional. And then I have my other prayer book here. And then I have my journaling because I love to journal. And then there's like some pocket coaching, and then that I receive. And then and it's so fascinating when you're kind of in your head about something, whether that's confused, anxious, stressed, depressed, sad, whatever it might be, or you're just trying to work through something. And then the next thing you know, it shows up. Like I can only imagine with the Motivate Me project, it just shows up, and you're like, how that was that person in my head? Like, is that person in my room? Because this message that I'm getting is so spot on to what I needed right now at this very moment in time. I mean, I'm always fascinated by God and fate and the universe and whatever you call it. But yeah, I just think that is fascinating. So what's your what would you say your purpose, your calling is going to be in 2021?
Well, my purpose is to be obedient to this project, because I really truly feel like God said, okay, with all the overcomer stuff that you've worked on, and trying to encourage and inspire people who are facing life's tough challenges, well, it kind of hit me. This is a collective, for all of us, life's toughest challenge. And we got to fight to overcome, to not let 2020 just derail us, for it not to take away the dreams that we have. That
Mm-hmm.
eh,
Mm-hmm.
I am so concerned about all of us, me included,
Mm-hmm.
about getting stuck in 2020 and just saying, okay, well, that's just the way it is.
Right.
Well, in some circumstances, you do have to say that, because there
Yeah.
are things out of our control. And I'm not trying to
Yep. Yep.
go around that. But as you said earlier, we are responsible for ourselves, in that we can say, today is a hard day, but I'm going to stay focused on my goals and I'm going to keep moving forward. All of those things are what I'm trying to make sure to power pack into those 3 minutes, so
Right.
that each day you are like, okay, I can do this. Yes, she reminded me of
Yep.
the importance of following my goals.
Right.
And so
Right.
that is, to answer your question, that's my goal for this year, is to make this project something that is so meaningful to those who subscribe, because I feel like it will make a difference in how their 2021 plays out. I want to see those
Right.
people thrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want us to completely upend 2020 and just do like a massive pendulum swing and
Yeah.
say that was awful, but this is amazing in 2021.
Yeah. But something keeps coming up, and I just want to throw it out at you.
Sure.
Something keeps coming up when, as we're talking, and that is the fact that 2020, if someone was to put a theme to it, right? If you ask, everybody on earth to put a theme to something, I think you're going to find there's going to be this huge, bulk of those individuals that put a theme of kind of anxious and stressed and isolated and all that kind of good stuff. But I think there's going to be just as big of a grouping that says, oh no, I would theme it opportunity, I would theme it growth, I would theme it gratitude, I would theme it acceleration, I would think and I think what your Motivate Me project is going to give them an opportunity to do is to also realize throughout we'll talk about it, but throughout the year, to realize that they could be that person over here on a day in day out basis, regardless of what challenge is thrown in their face. If they can realize that their mindset, as long as they're staying in a very motivated, energized, focused, clear mindset, they actually can live in the space of opportunity, possibility, potential, and thriving, even when things like, God forbid this ever happened again, things like this pandemic
Right.
brings about. Would you say that that's also kind of the end state of what you're trying to accomplish with your Motivate Me
Absolutely.
project?
Yeah, absolutely. It is about, and you didn't use this word, but as I was listening to you, I really think the word resilience, and
Yes.
we learn resilience only when we go through tough times. And
Right.
those tough times, as you said, are about growth and realizing opportunity. And I even mentioned I've recorded a few of the messages, and so my word for 2020 was grow. I mean, could it have been a crazier year for that word? But it was. It was an incredible year of growth for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
this opportunity, I didn't go into 2020 going, hey, I've got this idea. No, no, no. This came about because of 2020. It
Yeah.
came about because of the challenging situation that all of us are dealing with. And
Right.
I do think, as you mentioned, this Motivate Me project is definitely for those who have struggled this year. But there are that group, as you mentioned, that have done great, and it's for them too,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I I still need motivation, even
Mm-hmm.
though it's been an excellent year for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is about thriving. It is about continuing to pursue those goals, continuing to make an impact on the lives of others,
Yeah.
continuing to be a light in this world. All of
Right.
those things are important, whether you had a rough 2020 or you had an excellent 2020. It
Yeah.
really doesn't matter.
Right. Or if you had a mix of it. I mean, because
Yes.
I know life is just like 1 minute you get up in the morning and you're like productive, you're very motivated, you're very open, you're very engaged. And something, especially for me lately, it's like technology issues all of a sudden just kind of like smack you in the face. And you either have that opportunity to go, oh my God, I'm just going to throw up my hands and give up to this. Or to your point, you're going to use these nuggets of inspiration, motivation, things to re-energize, to go, you know what, this really does suck, but
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay at it. I mean, I've been, I would say this year at my desk, I had just been sitting there saying to myself all year, just stay at it, just stay at it, just stay at it, because I have wanted to just go, you know what? But at the same time, that's not going to get me anywhere.
Well, that's
Giving up is not going to
resilience
get me.
and perseverance. I mean,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
character traits that you
Yeah.
just don't get when things are great. You just
Right.
don't. That's not the
Right.
nature of those character traits. And so
Right.
I think we can take what we have learned during 2020 and we can take those lessons and move them into 2021 and see where they lead, because I think there are so many opportunities that we aren't even aware of yet that
Yeah,
are
yes.
going to come about because of what we've all gone through.
Right.
And I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me
I know
too.
that the vaccine is here. I know people have started receiving it, but I don't think that's the end yet. I don't think we're going to be back to normal quite yet. And I think God is opening, and opportunities are there everywhere. And we just, as again, we
Right.
need to be looking for them. Like I was
Yeah.
talking about
Well,
gratitude earlier.
yep. Yep. Well, I think there's definitely going to be, and I said this at the very beginning of the whole. I don't use the word P and the C word, but at the whole beginning of this, to a group of friends of mine, and I said, I think we're all going to become germaphobes. I think
Yes.
we're all going to be suffering from PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to have these lingering fears of getting close to anybody, whether that's physically or even, emotionally. I think there, to your point, yeah, I would agree. I think there's going to be a lot of recovery that a lot of us are going to have to go through. Not everybody, maybe not. I don't like to throw everybody into the
Oh
same
no,
basket, but
no.
a good many of us. So, okay, now we've peppered in a little bit of kind of the Motivate Me project, but go ahead, like explain what exactly, holistically it is.
So it is a project that will be the scope of 2021, starting on January 1st and going all the way through December 31st. So what that is 3-minute audio text sent to those who subscribe every single day of 2021. So when you multiply all that out, that is a lot of hours of content. And
Yep.
I'm excited about it. It energizes me when I sit down to put my notes together and to get ready to record, because I know the power of energy and excitement, and I know when others have poured into me, how
Mhm.
that propels me, and that's really the intent. And so
Right.
subscribers can receive that every single day. They can open it at any point during the day. They can listen, they can re-listen, as long as they don't delete the text. So they could even listen to it throughout the year if there was one topic that they needed to hear over and over. And
Right.
so the way that the subscription works is that it's $10 a month. And right now, until the end of January, you can, instead of doing the $10 a month, you can subscribe yearly. And instead of it being $120 over the course of the year, I'm offering it
Right.
for $99, so that you can just go
Awesome.
ahead and commit to the entire year, knowing that you're going to get that every single day. Now,
Right.
additionally, I created this journal. It's called the Motivate Me Journal, and it goes along with 100 of the text messages. So there's 365 days in a year. I'm not I'm not going to put the burden on anyone of having to do journaling every single day. Some of us like to journal, some of us don't. Some of
Right.
us want to do it when we feel compelled to. So this is about every 3 to 4 days. I will, whatever the message is, I will correspond and say, in your journal, I'd like for you to X, Y, or Z. And this gives you the opportunity to take it from listening, which I don't
Mhm.
want to minimize it, because it is very powerful, or else I wouldn't be
Right.
doing this.
Right.
But it can
Right.
be passive if you don't really do anything with it. If it doesn't motivate you to change or to act or any of those things, then this becomes interactive. And that's
Yeah.
why I did it. I'm a teacher. You remember this about me. I'm a
Mhm.
teacher. And so I
Yep.
was like, how could I make this so that it's more interactive and engaging and almost an accountability system? And so
Yeah.
it is, I'll just open the book here. And so it's just different topics that I will be covering all throughout the year. And so these are kind of an idea of some of the topics that I'll be covering. And
Yep.
and and
Yep.
like this one, you can see that quote by Les Brown, but you're not exactly sure what I'm going to ask you to do with that. So you got to be listening so that you know what to do.
Yeah, yes, yes, yeah. Well, and I love that idea. Well, one, I'm a journaler, but I love that idea because it's also from a teaching perspective. It's like, okay, and I'm going to screw up the term you probably, or the phrase, you probably know it. You know, when you see something, something, and then when you hear something, something, and then when you do something with something, something, and I can't bring it to bear right now.
I know what you're
But
talking about with my
yeah,
students. I call that layers of stickiness. So you're hearing
yes,
it, you're seeing it, you're interacting with it, you're engaging.
right,
All those different layers mean that you're actually
right,
learning it, and it's acting out in your life. It's not
yes,
just
yes.
in there for a short period and gone.
Right, right, right. At the same time, what I love about it too is, um, when when the student's ready, the teacher will come. It provides that type of opportunity too, because for instance, I'm very visual. So if I'm looking up a lot, that's why. But
No.
um,
Great.
yeah, it's because I could see myself like on day 13, 14, maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 didn't kind of jump out at me. But I listened to it, but it didn't jump out at me. Kept them there, didn't delete them. I would never delete them. What I would do is, because all of a sudden on day, 2 weeks later, or a month later, or 6 months later, I might just need that little jolt of something.
Yeah.
And I run through, because I keep, some meditation and some, pocket coaching that people send me. I'll keep some of them and I'll throw away others, because I just know that I can lean back on them when I, kind of in a place where I
Yeah.
need something. And I've sat down and have read, like, from the Jesus Calling. I've read like 8 days of her passages
Mm-hmm.
and devotionals versus just the one day. Like, I love the fact that even though it's a 365-day Motivate Me project, I can also, like, if I need it and I'm sitting on my couch or I'm driving or something, I could just put on a whole bunch of them and just start
Yeah.
listening to a number of them at one time. So there's a lot. And then with the journaling, that's a beautiful thing.
Well,
That's a
and
beautiful
I'm going
thing.
to see if I can find it quickly. One of my phrases that I use with my students is repetition is your friend. So if it's
Mm,
something that
mhm.
you and see right here, so we're going to be discussing that this year. Um, repetition is your friend.
Cute.
And
Nice.
the whole point of that is, as you were saying, sometimes you just need to hear something more than once. Sometimes
Yes.
you need to think about it more than once. And so
Mhm.
again, I encourage those who subscribe, don't delete them. And
Right. Right.
you may not need the idea of rest right now. You think, hey, I'm
I'm
balanced,
good.
I'm taking care of myself, I'm good. And then all of a sudden 3 weeks later you're like, what is wrong with me? And then you realize you have not rested. And so you can
Right.
go back to the ones, and I have them labeled. So when you get the text, you will know the topic. And then that way you could just scroll back through your phone and find the ones that you needed to listen to
Right.
again.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So you mentioned that if they do it now, so help me understand something again, because there's something changes after January 1st.
January
So,
31st.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
January 31st. Okay.
Right. So
So,
you can get it right now between now and January 31st. You can get it for $99. Basically, you're getting a $21 savings. So you're not paying for 2 months, a
right.
little over
Right.
two
Right.
months. And that's
Right.
why it's carried through January, because you're still getting a benefit if you even subscribe on January 31st. And I want to
Yeah.
mention it is ideal if you were to subscribe now so that you get the very first message on January the 1st
Right.
and then
Okay.
carry through all year long. But let's
Right.
just say that maybe you don't see this video until March 17th. You
Yeah.
can still jump in on March 17th
Sure.
and
Sure.
you still can order the journal. You won't get all of the journal entries prior to that, but you can still benefit from it greatly no matter what time of year that you jump in. My husband and I are working on, and we've got a whole year, so I'm excited about that. No pressure at the moment, but we will make sure that this loops back around so that during 2022, if you picked up on March 17th, then you could get January 1st through March 16th.
Right. No, absolutely. And that is what I love about my, devotional book. I probably have had it since Christmas 2017. So I went into 2018 with it, and I, went through it 2018. I've gone through it 2019. I've now gone through it 2020, and I plan to carry it with me through 2021. And it's a wonderful, beautiful thing. So that would be an awesome feature. Yes. And an awesome opportunity for people. Absolutely. Okay. So do listeners have an opportunity, or actually, potential subscriber, do they have an opportunity to listen to any samples or to get an idea of what these messages are?
Yes. So on melonybrown.com/motivate me, there are 3 sample messages that you can listen to. And it's going to be a tiny bit different because I didn't want to give away everything that I'm doing. So it's probably 95% of what you're going to get, but you'll get an extra 5% that you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. And
surprise!
Yes.
Yeah. So what do so what would you tell people in our last minute or so? What would you tell people that they could do, outside of this, but that they could do to kind of motivate themselves and get them re-energized and refocused?
Well, one of the things that we are going to talk about, and I feel very strongly, I'm a teacher, I'm a lifelong learner, and I believe in reading. I think there are so many great authors out there providing excellent content about living well, about going for your goals. I mean, the topics are endless. And, that Amazon truck comes around your neighborhood quite frequently. So all you got to do is just go on to Amazon and find a book that talks about what it is that you're struggling with or that you have an interest in. And then reading. Reading motivates me, and listening to podcasts, listening to what you do, because just to bring it back around, you offer great content, and that motivates me very frequently. And so you just got to find people that you would like to read what they've written, and you got to listen to podcasts of content that, as you said, motivates you, encourages you, propels you towards doing great things.
Right. Well, and I think what you're touching on is, I'm going to speak to our listeners and our viewers. You don't need to go it alone. Well, even in a book, even on a podcast, even on a blog post, even on a social media site, you can be reaching out and finding resources, finding experts, finding motivators, finding inspirers, finding speakers, finding authors, finding people that can actually provide you some insights as to what you could be doing to get yourself out of whatever is in that uncomfortable, depressive, anxious, stressful space. And because you don't need to do it alone. I mean, I'm not even going to bring up the subject of, having a coach to help you through those things, but you could just be reaching out, like Melony said, and reading and writing, and what she's doing here in her Motivate Me. It's not even the audios that for me jump out as, ooh, I want to be part of that. It's Melony delivering these messages, and you can hear in her voice, and you can see it on her face and feel it on her spirit, that she's very excited, and she's very passionate, and she's very energized and focused on this. And I don't know about you, anybody, but those are the people I seek when I'm kind of in a place of like friction, and I need to kind of get myself moved out of it. So recognize you don't have to be alone. And this Motivate Me project at melonybrown.com/project.
Motivate me.
Motivate
and
me.
If I may just interrupt you and just say, I want to make sure people know how to spell my name. It is a little bit different than the regular way. And so it's melonybrown.com/motivate me. Yeah, and I also want to tell you, thank you for your kind words. That really means a lot. And I feel the same about you. I love your energy and your just passion. I mean, anything that you put out there, that's why I relate to you so much. We just are very like-minded, and
Thank you.
Watch out if you ever put the two of us together on a project. Maybe that's in 2022. What do you think, Bernadette?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, we can always, collaborate on ideas. I'm always open to that. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, this has been fabulous, 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 fabulous. But I do want to mention one more time. So hold on, bear with me, everybody, because I want to make sure I get it right. All right. I do, the Motivate Me project, just the name in itself kind of says to me, and it should to you, that whenever you should need it, and even when you don't need it, but you want an extra humph, the Motivate Me project, little, audio clips, 3-minute audio clips that will get you kind of in the space that you want to be in. You may not think you do, but you want to be in that space of productivity and focus and energy and as she says, fuel and excitement and passion. Wherever you want to put it, you just want all of that around you. Because as I always say, what you put out in the universe, you get back. So if you want abundance, you want prosperity, you want energy and positivity and optimism and motivation and inspiration. And, the more you have of that through the Motivate Me project as well, the more it's going to come into your universe, into your life. So the Motivate Me project, I mean, come on, $99, a year's worth of motivation. And then you can also buy her journal, and getting it. And I talk about this all the time, getting it out of your hand and putting it on a piece of paper is the best way to lose all the power of negativity, lose all the power of stress and emotion and everything that might be getting you caught up. At the same time, putting out on a piece of paper from your heart all those things that excite you and motivate you and inspire you and energize you and focus you and everything that Melony's talking about, it's life-changing. It is life-changing. So she gives you an opportunity for both. So melonybrown.com, MELONY Brown.com /motivate me. Check it out. Hit the yes, I want it button. And January 1st, you're going to be transforming. You're going to be shifting where you are today to where you want to be going. So thank you so much, Melony. I so appreciate it.
Well, I thank you for your time. And I am so excited to spend time with you. And motivation fuels dreams.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we're going to see some dreams come into reality during 2021. So thank you for having me.
Yes, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And for everyone else, be right back here next Tuesday at noon Eastern time. We're talking about assessing 2020. Yes, you're not ready to put it away yet. You can't. There's a lot of blessings and lessons and a lot of other things. You need to be really intentional and very purposeful about evaluating and determining what you want to bring forward with you and then what you want to shed out of your life. So next week, assessing 2020. All right. So for everyone here in the Shedding the Bitch community and Ball of Fire Coaching and North Georgia Tax Solutions, thank you, Melony.
Thank you.
I'll look forward to seeing everyone right here on our Shedding the Bitch Facebook page for our live broadcast, as well as on blogtalkradio.com. And then, of course, follow, and subscribe, rate us, comment on any of your podcast streaming services. All right. Take care, everybody. Happy day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Shedding the Bitch Radio with Bernadette Bose. Join Bernadette every Tuesday at noon Eastern as she helps you shift your bitches to riches. And the dialogue is always going on at sheddingthebitch.com. See you next week.